right, YouTube should be starting here any second. Okay, so the YouTube is launched. So our plan, let me find my message. Okay, so we are here for a rare Wednesday stream since I'll be at TwitchCon this weekend. We started on the Hacker News thing using Algolia's API, but we have some bugs. We aren't bailing out of the loop when we should. I'm not sure we are paginating properly, and we're not setting the most recent ID properly for the loop. So there's a lot to do, so let's get to it. Let me get the right scene showing. Okay. Man, and I'm sleeping so much better these days now that it's like properly cold weather. Oh, I love it so much. I love it so much. And let me double check. Was there any chat I missed while I was doing that? In Ruby, you hate yourselves enough to spell out initialize every time, which is not easy while drinking. Well, that's what good auto-completion is for, right? And yeah, what's up, Ivan? How you doing, Mr. Sir? You're going to be good today, but your boss and you started on the red wine. It happens. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And Code Girl. Yeah, I could do butter chicken tonight. It does mess with my belly a little bit. And I don't necessarily like having rumble tummy on an airplane. It is super delicious. Yeah. As it gets closer to the time, we'll see. Definitely an option. I mean, I don't fly out till like 1 tomorrow. My stomach should be clear sailing by then. And back when you did Ruby full-time, you ended up just rocking without LSP because they were more effort than they were worth. How long ago was that? Like, that sounds like a long time ago. Are there any parties lined up for TwitchCon? Yeah, there's like an exclusive party. I mean, there's a few. I think Juicebox Hero is going to do a beach thing on Friday. Prime, Theo, Low Level Learning, Doug, whatever, are having their... like, they had a party last year on a rooftop that was really good. I had way too much whiskey at it. like so much so that I was like beet red in the face. I'm gonna try and take it a little easier today, and they're doing it again. So yeah, it was totally worth it. That does remind me. Hold on, I do need to send someone a message. They let me know I could do a +1, so I'm gonna see if Chef Brent wants to go, because he did mention he was going to be going last time I chatted with him. Right? Help out the homies. I saw him before the party last year, and I don't know, he was a little bummed that, like, you know, he didn't get the invite and blah, 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 and I don't know. Yeah, I want to make sure he feels included, because he's one of the OGs of the category, you know? Yeah, exactly. Oh, that was only a year and a half ago? Solar Graph was pretty good, but anything other than basic expressions means it loses types and then autocomplete hints. Okay. Yeah, there's some languages where, like, if you have any compiler errors or anything, like, you don't get any auto completion. I found that to be really weird. I forget which languages those were. I feel like I've had that with Elixir before. And I'm talking only from the LSP, right? Like Super Maven will autocomplete as much as it wants. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Rust will like the Rust LSP won't will like not do anything if there are type errors too. Yep. I think Rust I've had that problem for sure. And thanks, Timesy. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a fun TikTok. You haven't had Rust Analyzer entirely shut down, but it does stop at a type error, and the rest of the file doesn't get updates. Very annoying. Yeah. When you were getting your current job, they asked if you wanted to focus. I'm not buffering here, right? YouTube's buffering hard. Oh, that was weird. Yeah, looks like we're good. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, I reached out to Chef Brent. We'll see what he says. And how's everyone's Wednesday going? So let's get into the code stuff that we got to do. Yeah, this is where we left off. Oh, but I need more music going. Just all over the place. You're doing some Vim motion practice. You suck at everything. I mean, that's why we have trackpads. Okay. Oh no, it is of our hits loop. All right, so we aren't bailing out of the hits loop if we hit the previous most recent ID, but we're also not setting the previous most recent ID. So that's the biggest part, and that's probably why our pagination might be broken too. So why is the ID not being set? What is Vim hard time though? Hold on. Okay. There you go. Yeah, I mean, seems interesting. I don't care. I got a trackpad, man. All right, so number one, messijo.rss.create RSS history. We're not seeing that end up in our database. But why? All right, so let's start our server again. All right, no matter what, we're doing a fetch of the most recent ID. If it ends up nil, we go to there. Our history key is hackernews.comments. All right, so our fetching went through once at least. But we still don't see the prop for it. It's the exact same method that we're calling elsewhere, too. Yeah, I feel like that just encourages you to like kink your wrist while you're using the trackpad, though. Because I still like to leave my elbows on the armrests. Like in general, I don't like to use my trackpad with anything other than like perfectly neutral wrist position. That's where like the RSI stuff ends up happening when you're like slightly off and then you're like doing it, right? You're just putting pressure on these things. Yeah, so here it is. So I don't think we're getting into this as we thought we would. Right? Like we don't see create result happening at all. Which would mean like how are we even getting this? Yeah, it makes sense. I think one of the biggest things people make mistakes doing when they type is they make like micro adjustments from their wrist, right? Up, down, left, right, or they like type with their hand like this because they're like using the wrist rest too heavy, or they're like letting their hand dangle for some reason. Like any of those things just apply way too much pressure. But like the micro adjustments, like even if you're like making an adjustment out to like the backspace key, if you're hitting backspace too much and you're going like that for it instead of moving from the elbow, that's your problem. So like in general, you should be moving from your shoulders and your elbows more so than your wrists. It's a hard habit to break though. And in fact, yeah, some of these like split keyboards actually encourage the micro adjustments, which is kind of a problem. Like like I've seen Glasses from Alt F4 stream do it a lot, where he's just like micro adjusting all over the place. So here's the thing: if we go to the app, oh, that's production. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Because by the time you're feeling the strain, you've actually done damage. So the goal is to have good habits before you do damage. Ah, okay. So hold on. We did LLM for this platform. Interesting. So, yeah, we're getting to where we wanted with this. We are actually reading from Hacker News. And 5 minutes ago, right, we see this comment someone made. So it's really just a front end issue that we're not seeing this as we expected. But I think that's fine. But it hints that we're getting into these functions. Right? Hacker News stories, Hacker News comments. I didn't hard code this, right? It's the history key and the most recent ID. Name, latest ID. Let's look at keyword events. We scroll all the way to the bottom, we should be good, actually. Okay. So this one, we see the snippet, and we see that the platform is Hacker News. Okay. I think the problem is that we're just not getting any of these new log statements to execute. Okay, no, we do see this. And then we see error. Latest ID can't be blank. Why does it think latest ID is blank? And I'm going to guess it's because most recent ID is not resolving properly. We just need to see it execute again. Any minute now. Will it blend? I think my hunch is correct. It might be a nil most recent ID for some reason. We see a bunch of them fire. We only see the create result, though? Let's restart. Just because of the way that the cron jobs get added. Oh, and hold on. So BMSV, what you should be doing then is you should be checking, right? And like, this is an issue on my end, but you want to do the match whole word, like, checkbox. That will actually do it not inside of another word. So yeah, today you were trying to debug a test you were writing only to realize you mistook the assertion that you were debugging and looking in the wrong place. Turns out your code worked fine, and there's an inconsistency between libgit2 and gitoxide. Ah, okay. Yeah, but it's not obvious. So, yeah, I'm wondering, how could we make that more obvious? Hold on. Coworker reached out about something. I'm also going to need to go throw some laundry in the dryer. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. But yeah. Yeah, if you guys have any ideas about how I could make some of these things more obvious, like the difference between simple and compound, we saw Frozair ran into that same exact issue yesterday. He tried just doing like a phrase instead of like individual compound words. So I think if we see someone type a space in a keyword, we could identify that and have like a little like, I don't know, a pop up to the side or something. If they have the capability for compound keywords, we can let them know that it might be better to split them up. Could it always be compound? Compound is something that we kind of like gate between the billing tiers. And maybe that's a bad idea, but it's definitely like a more expensive operation. So I'm basically just billing, like, I'm gating the billing tiers based upon what's going to cost me more. So at some point, if I end up wanting to do like a Twitter integration, that costs like 54 grand a year. So yeah, like for someone to get that, like for the Twitter integration, it would definitely be gated by billing tier. Yeah, exactly. Because Twitter knows what they have. Like they know there's a lot of value in it. And they want to be able to sell their data to LLM companies like OpenAI, etc., in a way that like other people don't, right? Like they want to hold the keys to that kingdom. So yeah. Um but yeah, I do think the space thing would be nice. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yep. But yes, exactly, Caleb. Like I plan on adding a Discord integration for sure. We have notification support for email and Slack so far, but we're going to end up adding Discord and Microsoft Teams and webhooks. But those are maybe less important than adding another place to listen from, which would be Hacker News. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think there's like value in this. I just gotta like, I gotta build it out to a thing where I would want to use it. Like too many companies are gonna be like, well, I need Reddit, I need Twitter, and it's like, well, okay, we can get that eventually, but do these other things solve your problem? And yeah, maybe at that point, right? Let's look at the pricing. You know, I would say because you can have unlimited members, these are pretty reasonable prices, especially compared to some of the other companies we've looked at. And I need to start keeping a list of the competitors. I don't think I have that written down anywhere, which is a mistake. It needs to be here in the planning doc or something. Yep. Yeah, so I'm messing that part up. That's what I think so too, right? Like the amount of events that we'll handle, the types of notifications you can do, right? We're not calling out the compound keywords, so there's a lot of like marketing site bullshit to do. I just find that that's probably a little more boring for stream. So yeah, marketing site stuff I might do off stream, or at least I want to get more functionality out there before we really focus on adding frequently asked questions to each page and all that BS. But technically, you can sign up for it right now. Right now. And yeah, we've got a bunch of users. Well, not like users already, but people have signed up to test it. I don't know if they're finding like the value in it yet, though. And that's the problem. But there's only so much time to work on these things while I have a full-time job. At some point, if I can get some traction, I would apply for like some VC funding so I can afford to work on this full-time, and then maybe even hire people. Thanks, Joko. Yeah. Yeah, let me know. Like, we do have a way to submit, feedback, etc. Right? Any feature requests, general help, bug report, whatever, right? Like, yeah, feel free. I need help. I need more. We got to do it. But it's not open source, so I don't necessarily want to conscript people to help me build it. But as far as like stuff that you want that I should build, yeah, just let me know. And yeah, we could even add like a suggestion or whatever. I actually haven't looked at that in a while. I probably should. Yes, and AI is absolutely something I'm going to add to it, for sure. My goal would be I would add that to the pitch more so than right, more so than like needing it right now. I would just add it to the pitch. We do it over here. I'm storing them inside of a database. Right. So currently, no one has submit any KV stuff yet. As far as I know, I might have a bug. Currently, no sales emails either. Yeah, I'm using Cloudflare for like the workers' pages stuff for the hosting. And I'm using R2 for my backups, and I'm using Workers KV for like the form submission stuff. Just because I didn't feel like setting up a whole email address for it or anything. But I should. I should do that at some point. I'm sure there's some like pipeline thing I could do. I don't know. There's always more work to do. We just got to decide which work to do first. No, I mean Cloudflare workers. Like serverless functions. So workers KV is a key value store that Cloudflare workers have access to. There's D1 if you want SQL. You know, like workers/pages. I'm using Cloudflare pages still just because I find it to be a better abstraction for what I'm trying to do. Because I don't need server-side rendering or any of that BS. I just need static stuff, and I just send it out. So hopefully they don't end up deprecating and completely removing pages anytime soon, because I don't want to deal with that. You want to add Cloudflare to your CLI to check the availability of a domain. Yes, I'm using Cloudflare in my CLI tool as well. I don't remember where that is in the dashboard here. It's got to be in here somewhere. But yeah, they have an API for doing like a whois lookup. I really don't remember where that is now, though. Nah. All right, so back to what we're doing. New most recent ID, and it is nil. Well, that would be the problem. That would be the entire problem. Why is that nil? It would be because we're getting into this point. What the hell is history then? Yeah, you probably do. You probably do. All right, so what we're going to do is we restarted that. While we're waiting like a minute for the process to kick off, I do need to throw some laundry into the dryer, so I'll be right back. Cool. Laundry's in the dryer. Sorry about that. So we're seeing new most recent ID for Hacker News. But we're not seeing history here. But wait, how is default ID nil? We're just passing the timestamp. Tag is comment. History key is hackernews.comments. Hit keys is the array. That number is default ID. And keywords are keywords. What the fuck, dude? Like, obviously, this is going to be nil, but why? Because right here, what we're doing is we're pattern matching on the nil value. So this get history, which should be nil, comes back, and then we're returning this default ID into most recent ID. And then that's what we're passing to all of this other BS. Oh. Oh. We're actually coalescing the most recent ID fine. It's this value that's our problem. That's it. Yeah. So what the hell? What the hell? That's one thing I wish we could do. I wish we could set the cron job to be less than a minute. But I can understand why cron jobs at less than a minute are really not something you do. Let's double check this. Yeah, so you can only do it by minute. The first hit is nil. Oh, so maybe Elixir might too? Interesting. Very interesting, actually. I don't think I would have guessed that, but that's cool. One second. Hold on, where's this thing? All right, so hits is empty. How the... Huh? Okay. So comments are hitting just fine. Okay, so we're only querying comments properly. Okay, so it's how we're getting the first thing in the list. That ends up being our problem. That was last song, though. Let's get another. Because I think Synthwave belongs in a museum. Junior. All right, let's just do one of these at a time so it's a little cleaner. And what's up, Unplug? How you doing? All right, so stories are ending up empty for some reason, but we can do comments just fine. Yeah, this song's a massive vibe. I like it. So do you. Yeah, exactly. All right, so this is first hit. And we see created at I. So new most recent ID is the 5981. Ah, right. Because it needs to be a string. That's our issue. That would be that issue. Okay. Yeah. All right, so yes, when we start doing our comparison between those two values, we need to make sure that we cast them properly. But that would be our major problem now. So I bet we're going to be able to see the RSS history this time. Right? Boom. Comments is already in there. Perfect. Okay, cool. All right, so the way we're getting first, all that works. So yeah, let's go back now. We figured out what that issue was. Oh. Okay. And hey, James. Aw, you didn't have to do that, man. Thank you for the gifted subs. Who got one? So, Poch Brazil, I7 Deuce, Chars D, or Charsdo, Sockwer, and Rar. I like that name. Yeah, thanks for the gifted subs, dude. Yeah, you got one. All right, so we'll restart this server. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I forgot to save this, though. Create result doesn't matter at the moment. All right, so we are now properly setting the ID. We're still not bailing out of the previous loop. Oh, hype train, eh? Hype train, eh? How'd that happen? How's Messy Joe's going? It's going pretty good. We are setting up the Hacker News listening, and we got a bunch of bugs for it. We do see that there's no history, because I forgot to remove those logs. I did forget to remove those logs, which is fine. So then in the database, we should see most recent ID values. We do. Awesome. Don't you hate when you have like a draft PR and you explicitly say, yes, I left some things in there because I was concentrating on something else, and then the person reviewing calls out the things that you told them were not permanent, they're temporary, like look at the other part. Like it's like people don't read instructions. Like he read the first sentence of the message I sent, and that's it. What? Yeah. Fuck off there, Prometheus. Fucking troll. I know, right? Yeah, pretty accurate. I'll wait until you're finished then before reviewing completely. Do I have the outline right? Like, dude, some people are really bad at code review. Like, something's marked as draft. Am I going in the right direction? That's all I'm asking. All right, so what we need to do then for our next bit can we bail out of an each? Now I know I'm doing some like bail somewhere. I think I'm failing it on the RSS part though. It is reduce the one that has the halt stuff. Okay, got it. Oh, the reduce while. That's it. Okay. So yeah, instead of the 4 each, here we want reduce while. The enumerable, yeah, all that looks good. So then what we want to do is if most recent ID is equal to this, do end halt. Hold on. So yeah, is there else if? I probably just want to pattern match it, right? Yeah, the lack of an early return gets me every time. Okay, so there isn't. So wait, now I forget how to do the. Like, there should be at least if else, not if else if. Yeah, so if thing do, else do. Or else, so it's not an else do, it's just else. So if do else. There we go. That's what I was looking for. All right, and one thing we want to do here is we want to wrap it. Okay, so is there a good way of doing a string conversion? Like string.from, I think. We can just do this. How about that? What we'll do is current ID is equal to that. All right, so then we just keep going through. And that should be good. It's going to be a number. But because of how I'm storing things in the database, I need to convert it to a string. So most recent ID here will always be a string. But what I need to do here interpolation works fine. You usually prefer it to two string. Makes sense. Okay. All right, so we're bailing out of our hits loop now. And I do feel like we are paginating. All right, so what I want to do is I want to restart. Oh, well, yeah, can't do that with the dev server down. And then before we get too deep, I want to delete those two. And hold on. All right, just double checking. Let's get more music going. I do think we are paginating. How can we detect if we have paginated? We'll just throw a log right here. because we should get multiple pages now. I do want to do a value in here. That value is going to be... we could do history key. All right, so let's spin this up, and let's see if we paginate properly. Oh, ion spect. Well, yeah. So that wasn't going to work anyway. But do I need to reset it? I do. Shit. Well, the fact that it got to that point means that it did fire. So even though we misspelled it, that doesn't actually matter that much. Ooh, and I did reduce... Wait, where did I do... Enumerable list reduce? Where is that happening? Oh. Sorry. Work thing. And hey, what's up, Celestial? How you doing? In the exiting stages of the flu. Ah, that sucks, man. So it's saying that our reduce while. Yes, we're doing hit keys. That was the wrong hit keys. Uh, yeah, because we're doing this nested loop. That's where the issue is bubbling up. I mean, it's not a big deal. We can do it in here still. Yeah, and we needed that continue. So that should actually fix the bug that we just had. All right, so we should see this actually flow through. All right, so we go to 2 pages worth of stuff. Cool. Except that I'm not sure it's actually working right. Because I think we were seeing that the second page ends up being empty. So I think it's in this logic here. Sorry, man, work just keeps reaching out. I'm a popular guy, I guess. Today is the 15th. Ooh, hold on. I want to check one thing. Got to double check on my reimbursement. Oh man, just so much work. And what's up, Jalen? Yeah, I was gonna reply to you. Just it's not like an on stream reply thing. I think yeah, we could definitely do a call. I don't know about on stream. Like we can always chat about that stuff on stream, especially if it's open source. I would say a call on Sundays would be ideal. All right. So, did we paginate? Item failed to parse date. Well, that's a different one. Oh, that was a lobsters one. So wait, yeah, this was a lobsters issue. We see pub date. Oh, yeah, that's a weird one. I don't know about that one. But okay. Okay, so I'm curious, why did we go to a second page for this one? But then we were empties here. So we do still have a flaw in how our paginating is working. Yes, okay. No. So that's why we want to do this at the top level. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's a flaw in how we're doing that part. Because when we get any new comment or story, we paginate through, but really we want to bail out before we even paginate. So we are paginating, we're just paginating in the wrong cases, and this should become the reduce while. And there we go. Right, and then we pop back through this recursive function to hit the second page, and if we hit an ID that we have hit before, we bail out. So then, yeah, this reduce while that one I'm okay with. Oh. But we could use a magic number here. So if we halted, we can return -1. I need that there still. All right, so then what we'll do here is in this reduce while, the result will be reduce result equals that. You're going to try cooking in TypeScript? So like you start like an endless while loop and you throw an egg on top of your Mac Mini? I think it could work. Oh, even better. They like, dude, uh some like IBM like ThinkPad gets way hotter. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I want to reset this just una mas. Yeah, that was a bad one. Mark is red. Oh. Ah. There we go. Yep. So I forgot to update that each. Let's clear these out again just to be sure. Okay, so we should see a bunch of stuff. So we got to the second page. Hmm. I think we should technically be going further. Let's at least double check. We should have the expectation that neither of these fires like that again. At least for the time being, right? We should see at least a couple of these like fetching with just the empty string in a row, right? The next one should not have the fetching next page. Okay. But the flaw that we have is we're setting this value at the wrong time, basically. So what I'd want to do we can do most recent ID. Yeah, this is where the recursion's getting us a bit. Let's talk through the process. We have an ID that is theoretically from yesterday, so I would expect a lot more to come through, right? Like, I would expect more than just one page, at least specifically for comments, right? But we're getting to the second page and it's bailing out. So realistically, right, we hit it the first time, and this get RSS history is empty because it's the absolute first time we've done this. And then we fetch based upon the most recent ID. From there, we set it, and by setting it here, it now means that the next page we get, like, we're going to do another fetch. Oh, you know what? That's it. That's it. We don't want this function to be the recursive one. We want the loop we're doing. Yeah, I'm not explaining this very well. Yeah, once I have like the right thought. Like, we're not done having the thought, Lightspeed. Like, why write a comment when you're not finished figuring out what the issue is? And realistically, why would we need a comment when we can just fix it, right? Comments are for things that are going to last. If we fix it, the comment's no longer valid. That's another good one. Yeah. Yeah. Comments are talking shit without the customer knowing. Touche. I've told you all the story about one of the projects I worked on back in the day, right? For anyone who hasn't heard it, there was a project I worked on. I was at a client agency or consultancy or whatever you want to call it, where we inherited a project from the client that they had another agency start. And it went through at least like 2 people who were like, no, I'm not touching it. I'm not doing that project. And it landed on me. And I was like, fuck it. Why not? Because I was a contractor. Pay me by the hour. Good to go. In looking through this, well, before I even get to that part, the story I was told was they had a dev at this agency who just disappeared into Southeast Asia, right? This was a Russian company that they were using. And that dev that was working on it at the Russian company eventually just like went no contact and disappeared into Southeast Asia. Which is an interesting thing to be told. Let me get more music going. So as I'm looking through the source code, well, yeah, let me check the code base. Let's look at, the Git history. Let me just like see what's been done. And I start reading through it. And at the most recent, things are wild. But if you were to flip it, you start to see like this dude's descent into madness. It starts out with like, man, I hate this client. And it eventually gets to, I really shouldn't code drunk. To finally stuff like, I'm just doing this because I can. And it was just this like, it gets worse and worse and worse over time. It was like a diary. It was really good. It was quite hilarious. I feel like I saved the screenshot of that. It's got to be somewhere on my work machine right now. On my like previous work machine, not my like work machine, but the one that I had from the agency. I feel like I would have saved it, but maybe I didn't. Maybe it's on the Mac Mini or something. Yeah, I don't know. It was hilarious though. It was like just really fun. But okay. What I want to do is instead of most recent ID here, let's look at their API. Like, what's the right way to fetch the second page? This is it. Yes. Okay. No. This was easily like 2018. Yeah, I stopped working at that company in like 2020. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I pasted it to our internal Slack. They thought it was hilarious. I don't know. Not sure. Okay, so what we actually want to do is we want to pass the ID that we fetched. So I don't know if that's important, but maybe we want to pass the page. Yeah, I don't know. I've definitely had that before. Yeah, like no code review. Sometimes at an agency, you're the only person working on a project. There's no one to review your code. Like all they care about is the deliverables, which is like the working website. Okay, we got a good plan for this. I do need to use the restroom, and I'm gonna grab some limes to slice. Yeah, agency life, it's a young man's game. I mean, mainly it's a young man's game because they're incentivized to not pay you much. They're incentivized to like churn through people. That's a security vulnerability. Lightspeed, okay. You tell an agency how to work. Have fun with that. Have fun with that. I mean, that's a very naive look at the world. There are security vulnerabilities everywhere, even after being code reviewed. Like, man, you fundamentally misunderstand the economics of client agency work. They're incentivized to pay as little as possible, so anyone worth their salt should move on from an agency within 2 years. Get that 2 years on your resume and find a better job. And they're aware of that. They know it's a churn because they can only pay so much because you're eating into their bottom line because they bill by the hour. The more you cost per hour, the less profit they make off your time. Yeah, it's a good place to get started, especially because they churn through devs so quickly. Because they're churning through so much, they're always hiring new people. I've never seen an agency without job postings. Doesn't happen. Not good ones. But okay, I'll be right back. Got my limes. Had to use the restroom too. I do need to rinse the glass. Give me just one more second. And I'm back. All right, so let's pour one of these. Good old Basil Hayden. And yeah, what's everyone up to? How you enjoying your Wednesday? Any fun plans? I'm gonna be playing some Baldur's Gate 3 with the homies tonight. Still on the fence about what I'm gonna eat for dinner. We can go low calorie like I did yesterday again, which I probably should do. Or I could order butter chicken. Or I could go to the KFC nearby. You mean dumplings? I don't have any dumplings in the fridge right now. Or in the freezer. A work movie night. You're going to watch The Rock. Ooh, that's a fun one. Yeah, before Nicolas Cage jumped the shark. I'd say it's one of the better Nicolas Cage movies. I like Con Air, just for like the cheesiness of it. My favorite Nicolas Cage movie is Raising Arizona, though. Like, Raising Arizona is an amazing, perfect film. Inception, The Matrix, Jurassic Park. I saw The Matrix and Jurassic Park in the theater. I'm really proud of that. About that. I haven't seen the new Dune movies though. Like, what y'all should do is you should watch the 80s Dune. And then you should watch the documentary about Jodorowsky's Dune. Jodorowsky's Dune would have been crazy. Dune sounds like an 80s surfer film? Sure. Okay, so we pass in the page, and we can just add the page to our query here. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I've heard it's really good. I've never heard anyone say it's bad, actually. I really like the 80s one for the campy nature of it. Like, it's just solid camp. All right, so big thing here is when we hit this halt, we want to do that. It's just one. I would say put Raising Arizona on your watch list as well. If you like a good Nicolas Cage, yeah, Raising Arizona is a must watch. Dude, I got all sorts of 80s hits you should watch. I'm old. I'm old. Watch basically everything by John Carpenter. Did he have any bad films? Oh, that vampires movie, right? And even then, that one's all right. Let's double check it. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Not music department. Oh, director we wanted. We don't care about composer. Writer might actually be worth doing. But yeah, as a director, okay, so yeah, some of his early stuff kind of sucked. Dark Star is like a cult classic. If you've ever heard of the band Pinback, that that is a reference to the film Dark Star. Assault on Precinct 13 is a classic. Halloween. I don't know Someone's Watching Me or Elvis. The Fog I've heard is really good. Escape from New York, classic. The Thing, classic. I didn't realize he directed Christine, classic. He did Starman, the Jeff Bridges movie? No way. Oh shit. I would not have guessed that. Big Trouble in Little China. Prince of Darkness. Who's in this one? Yeah, this one looks a little meh. I mean, Donald Pleasance and Victor Wong are great, though. They Live, amazing. Memoirs of an Invisible Man was his? I didn't know that. Okay. He did Village of the Damned, too? Escape from L.A., Vampires. I don't know In the Mouth of Madness. I didn't know he did Ghosts of Mars. Oh my god. And yeah, the rest is just like, I don't know, meh. But yeah, he has like an 80% hit rate of just like good shit as a director. And as a writer, it goes even crazier. Well, actually, I don't know. He gets writer credit for like all the Halloween films, even though I don't think he directed most of them. He just did the first one, I believe. And yeah, The Fog. I'm thinking of The Mist. Yeah, I bet the new version of The Fog sucks. But anyway, I'll happily get distracted by talking about John Carpenter any day of the week. The 80s hacker movies like War Games. War Games is good. The best one is Sneakers. That one might be 90s though. 92. Yeah. I'd still lump it in as an 80s one. This is actually the greatest hacking film of all time. Right? Because it's actually like, it's like real hacking, you know? Like, what other hackers films are you thinking of? Like, War Games is good. How about a nice game of chess? All right, but yeah, so we got to think about how we want to paginate this and how we actually pass around this like new most recent ID. Oh, Johnny Mnemonic, yeah, but that's 90s. That was like 96, maybe 97. You guys watched it at a work evening? Nice. 95. Ah, shit. Okay, I was off. I could have sworn it came out after we had moved, but I ended up just watching it after we moved. This is one of those movies I wouldn't have seen in theater. But yeah, Virtuosity is a good, like, you know, hacker tech kind of movie. Hackers, of course. Like, the 90s had way more of that stuff. Yeah, as far as 80s go, it's really just like war games. You're not wrong. Yeah, 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 for sure. Dolphin intelligence, LLM intelligence, tomato, tomato. But yeah, what's up, Fool Dev? How you doing? So I like the idea that we're doing just a single fetch of the keywords. And yeah, this function's getting majorly like overloaded, not like overloaded in a technical way, but like just we've got way too many args for this. It's starting to feel pretty gross. Yeah, we can pull some of this stuff out. It'll end up being duplicated, but a little bit of duplication, I think, makes this fetch by tag function simpler. So if we duplicate some stuff in here, I'm not too worried about that. Change to take an array? An array of what? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Gawkin. Yeah, no worries, Caleb. Have a good night. Thank you for hanging out again. Good job being responsible. Going to sleep at a reasonable hour, I guess. Oh, do give me a sec. No, and that's fine, Gawkin. I think you're just misunderstanding what these arguments are for, which is fine. But let me restart my dryer. Every single load in my dryer takes 2 instances of running the dryer, which is a little annoying. Like the sensor sucks. So I just got to do like the timer on high heat. So many hoodies? Oh, I got hoodies for days. Yeah, I'm a collector. You came here because YouTube is down? Oh, really? I mean, it looks like it's still running from my end. But what's up, Charin? How do I pronounce your name? Just let me know. Let me double check this, though. Oh, you weren't kidding. YouTube is down. Oh, shit. Oh, wait. No, there it goes. It was a little bort. But yeah, welcome. Thank you for hanging out. All right, so we definitely do still need this, which is going to do our fetching. We're not going to need these two things because we're just duplicating some logic for that stuff, which I'm fine with, especially because it means we only fetch it once, right? Instead of like each time. It's not going to overload our database either way, but saves us another like fetch from the database for that. What it means is we need to pass the most recent ID. And then maybe okay, so then, yes, we do want to pass this, right? New most recent ID. But history key and default ID go away. So now we've got tag, hit keys, the page we care about, keywords, and new most recent ID. We do need default ID. But maybe it's not default ID, it's just most recent ID. Okay, so we end up doing that. And then in here, we don't need this because most recent ID is passed in. Page we do care about. New most recent ID. To espresso or not to espresso? Yeah, I don't know, man. How much do you value sleep? Very little. Sleep's so important. I'll just say that. Sleep's so important. Like on Monday, I had to wake up way earlier than I wanted. I had to call at 8 a.m. I don't remember. I think I took a shower before. So that means I woke up at 7:30. Which sucks. I hate waking up early. Now, actually, I don't mind waking up early. These days, I mind it more, but back in the day, I could just wake up. It was actually pretty easy. I was never one of those people that just was hard to wake up. Meanwhile, my younger brother, dude, the hardest to wake up. But yeah, for me, like basically once I'm up, I'm going, you know? All right, so let's do another one of these. Just double check in some BS. There we go. Needed to add that to my Apple Wallet. Almost forgot to add my boarding pass from a flight tomorrow. Back in the day, you used to wake up at 6:45 a.m. to get ready for work. Nowadays, you wake up after 11, put the laptop over your bed table, and join the first meeting of the day. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're getting your shit done, I think that's all that matters. Like, I'm kind of doing that with work, you know? I'll do my, like, main meeting stuff in the morning. You know, we're talking... Oh, and I just realized the music was a bit loud. Sorry, guys. I'll do my main meeting stuff in the morning, and then 1 p.m. hits, 2 p.m. some days. We hop on stream, and then I do work after stream. Because a lot of my work doesn't need, like, a lot of, like, collaboration. It's usually just, like, make a video that does a thing. Who here remembers when I used to wake up super fucking early? Like, this stream used to start at, like, I want to say 5 or 6 a.m. I'd stream for, like, 4 or 5 hours, and then, damn, it might have even been like 4 a.m. I'd stream for like 4 or 5 hours and then do my work stuff. How many people do we even have back from that era? That must have been back in 2018. Yeah, so the way it worked, Celestial, when I was doing it, was I was on a biphasic sleep cycle. So I would sleep like 4 hours from like midnight to 4, hop on stream and work, and then I would get another bit of sleep from like, I want to say like 1 to 6 or something like that. I don't recommend toying with your sleep cycle that much. Eh, you can get used to any schedule. It just takes time. Back when I was the snowboard bum during the winter, I'd have to wake up at 5 a.m. Because there was a bus I'd have to take to get to the mountain at 7:30 a.m. Because, you know, the resort opens at 9, but opening the terrain park requires at least an hour's worth of work. And yes, it was still the best time of my life. I only did that for like the first year or two. Because I got into night terrain park, which was fucking amazing. So I would go, like, you know, I would, for night terrain park, I would snowboard all day, like wake up at like the crack of 10 a.m. I'd snowboard until my shift started at like, I want to say 4. Maybe 3. I think the shift started at 3. No, it must have been 4. I don't remember. It was, oh, it could have even been 2. I don't know. But I would snowboard all morning, and then I would clock in, and I was on the terrain park, so I would be snowboarding all evening. And then I would even go out with the CAD operator who like built the jumps and the rails and stuff at night and help them set that shit up. So yeah, like back when I was a snowboard bum, I was putting in work. And it was the best time of my life. Like, dude, there's something about like going out with the CAD operator, smoking some weed, and being like, well, what do we want to build today? And then building it. Oh, here's a fresh jump. Well, let me test it out real quick. Yeah, it was really good. Awesome time of my life. All right, so let's keep going. Oh, so this is yes, we have to pass the history key to be able to save this value. Damn, so we can't pull all of this stuff out. Huh. Oh, and damn, some neighbor's cooking something that smells delicious. I could just pass a keyword list. Tomato, tomato at that point. I'm not worried about that. Like, is there any performance hit to having a bunch of args? I don't think there is, right? Hmm. Yeah, it's just more, where does it make the most sense to set some of these values? Like, no matter what, I want to get the most recent ID outside of the recursive function. Because that's a bug that we're hitting, right? It's only allowing us to get the first page because of where we're setting that value. All right, so no matter what, hold on, right? Time for another refresher on recursion. No matter what, no, we can't pass the new most recent ID out of this. Yeah, my brain just doesn't work with recursion. The issue is, and it's hard to articulate, but explaining it will help. We need to make sure that we're setting the new most recent ID from the first call that we make. But because we have this set up as recursion, it's grabbing the new most recent ID from whatever our request here was. I think the main reason we're running into this is because I didn't want to duplicate this fetch within the same function, but that might be the move. So instead, fetch by tag. I'm thinking I don't want to call this recursively, and we just do it in a loop. And then instead, we just create a function to handle each page. And then it's no longer recursive, and we're just handling the page that we got. And then that function that handles the pages, when it hits, like, we would just return a Boolean of if it should continue. And if we, within the page that we have, we hit the most recent ID and we get a false, then we bail out. Yeah, I'm going to refactor this to a loop. I think the recursion is just, it's not the way my brain works. So I think we will still have a fetch by tag function, right? Internally. What's my calendar telling me? Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, TwitchCon tomorrow. We're still going to have a fetch by tag function. Inside the fetch by tag function, we're just going to have a loop and loop over and do the fetching. And in that loop, we then end up calling another function to handle the page that we're on. And that page will still maybe need to be genericized between tags and things like that. Or at least, yeah, okay. Yeah, I like the structure of this better. I think it's going to make more sense. Because my brain doesn't think in recursion. Like, the point at which we grab this, like, most recent ID value. In a recursive function, we have to just find that most recent ID. We could have this, like, fetch by tag that ends up having, like, 10 different arguments we pass to it. That just doesn't feel right to me. To me, that feels like it's a bad abstraction. It's not that recursion's a problem, it's that my way to reason through the recursion is the problem. When instead, I could just loop over some things, and we'll duplicate a little bit, but I think we'll end up duplicating less than we have here. It's not that it's a problem, it's just that my brain doesn't work with recursion well. Like, I could make it work, but then what happens when I have to come back and debug it? I'd much rather work in a loop function. That unknown number is like, so the idea is that I'm going to have to fetch a page, right? Like, let me just start scaffolding out these functions. It might make more sense, right? So we have the fetch by tag, and then we're going to have a handle page. Right? And this would take in the hits. We wouldn't need the ID. Like, YouTube is down, right? People are talking about it on X. I mean, we were able to get it to load just now, so I'm not sure. I think, yes, they are having issues for sure, but I'm not sure what those issues are specifically. We were able to get it to load here. Yeah, sorry, I'm bad at articulating this, but I have a very clear plan in my head. right? Like this reduce result, that is going to go into handle page. The number of pages thing. Well, yeah, we're no longer going to recursively call this, so we don't need to worry about that. Right? But fetch by tag is still something we want to genericize a bit. So, right, tag. Let's think about where this needs to go. So most recent ID, new most recent ID. Those are going to happen inside of fetch by tag still. We do want to pass keywords. Fetch by tag is going to take the page value. And no, it doesn't. Right? Because that's a concern of the looping we're going to do. So we don't need to pass that. We do need to pass this value. But hold on, nope. Wrong thing. That value is history key. Interesting. Yeah, we got it to load. It did take like a while though, which was weird. And yeah, I'm seeing 0 concurrent viewers in my YouTube dashboard or YouTube Studio or whatever. No, I've had this beanie for a while. All right, so then we're back to this part. AWS reporting issues? I mean, yeah, that's interesting. Let's double check. YouTube, massive. Google, yep, makes sense. Roblox, T-Mobile, Verizon. Reddit, Xbox, Amazon even. Damn, so this seems to me like something wrong with like the global backbone or DNS in some way. And I think we all know the DNS haiku, right? It's not DNS. There's no way it's DNS. It was DNS. Damn, even Twitch is having issues. Oh, man. Dude, the world is burning right now. What are you going to do when the internet goes out? Dude, I had a friend who maybe is not as knowledgeable as he would like to think he is. What happens if all the power in the world goes out, man? Like, you know, what happens if the internet goes down? Like, what happens if all the power plants and the power grid fails? And my response was, dude, we could just generate electricity with electric motors. Where's an electric motor? Your ceiling fan, your dryer, your car's alternator, all of these things can generate electricity by you spinning it versus it spinning something. Like, there are so many people that are clueless to how generators and engines work, right? Like electric motors specifically, right? An electric motor can be powered to spin, or you can spin the motor yourself to generate power. Like, it's just yes, all the electricity goes, yeah, you are fucked, buddy. Me? I'll figure it out. Like, come on. It's not that fucking hard. There are electric motors fucking everywhere. Like, dude, we're fine. No. It's not a power outage. I was just talking about, like, I had a friend who doomsdayed this shit. And it's just ridiculous. That's why I couldn't take that show Revolution seriously. You guys remember that? Right? From, like, I don't know. That show Revolution. Oh, the electricity totally failed in the entire world, and now we're back to, like, horses and muskets and shit. Or whatever. It's like, how? And then eventually the sci-fi kicks in, and the reason was nanobots. How the fuck are the nanobots operating? Like, I don't know. It was just so ridiculous. That show Revolution was hot fucking garbage. It's just the worst premise. Like, I like sci-fi. I can suspend disbelief, but not when it's fucking stupid. Like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, you show me some, like, pulsar cannon. All right, I'll suspend disbelief. Electricity fails in the entire planet. How? Did magnets stop working? The entire planet would break apart. Like, I don't want my sci-fi to try and ground itself in reality. I want sci-fi that's proper fucking sci-fi. The Expanse is proper fucking sci-fi. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, while on the subject, how do magnets work? You don't necessarily need to know how they work, just understanding that they do work. But you can create an electromagnet by wrapping coils. Like, you can create electromagnets. It's just fucking science. The hacker known as 4chan. Oh, I'm sorry, Mullet Dev. Yeah, the only ICP I know is, like, Great Malenko from back in the 90s, back before I knew better. Maybe that's from Great Malenko. I don't even know. I don't remember it that well. All right, so yeah, let's keep doing this, right? Tag, hit keys, history key. Page is not something we pass. That's the whole quote. Fucking magnets, how do they work? Got it. I think it's far less relevant to care about that specifically. There are things that are magnetized. It could be Cloudflare. Yeah, it's crazy how much Cloudflare is a bottleneck for the entire fucking internet. Is everyone still at Cloudflare Connect or whatever? Is that it? Half the company went to Cloudflare Connect. So now they're on, like, Skeleton Crew, maintaining the entire fucking internet. (13th through 16th). Yeah, that's it. That's totally fucking it. Honestly, if someone wants to bring down the internet to be a dick, all they got to do is watch for a company like this doing some fucking conference or something. All their biggest and best and brightest are going to be there rather than actually working. It's a perfect opportunity. Yeah, I set mine to Google, but Google's probably proxying to Cloudflare anyway, so fuck it. You know? Fallbacks to quad 9, then Google? Okay. Damn, 3 days of conferences in Vegas? How much shit do they have to talk about? Oh, don't get me wrong. I love conferences. Well, that's like a separate thing. All right, so yeah, new most recent ID. So yeah, if we think about how we want to do this, right? We're doing a fetch. We're getting the initial thing, right, at page 0. So we don't even need to pass page. And what we could also do is make this a URL. Oh, quite. Oh, I see where I'm doing that wrong. Ah, no, we can't do that, though. Shit. Nah, we'll just leave it for now. Whatever. We'll duplicate that chunk. What the hell is this? Didn't they just warn me about that? Yeah. My calendar events for TwitchCon are hitting at the moment. But yeah, so we do a fetch by tag. We got hit keys, history key, keywords. We want to pass some of these things in. Most recent ID. We don't want to hard code that, so we do want to have default ID. All right, so then we coalesce the most recent ID. It's either the one that we have recorded or the default that we pass in. And yeah, like this is going to be totally broken. Fetching stories, I almost want to just comment that out, but we can pass on it for now. So we fetch by tag, we get the initial result, we get our hits back. So this is where handle page happens. We pass in hits. We do need to pass hit keys. Let's look at that. Do we think they're right? I don't think we need to pass most recent ID, but we do. No, we don't, actually. We definitely don't. So then new most recent ID is that. Well, that doesn't seem right either. Handle page, history key, no longer necessary, so we get rid of that. We do still want to reduce while inside handle page because it's going to come back with the result, the accumulator that we care about. And we could actually just turn that into a true or a false value. We'll leave the numbers for now, though. All right, so we get new most recent ID. We get this. And then from here, if, and this is going to be result number pages greater than 0. And we don't want to fetch by tag anymore. We just want to handle the page. In here, though, we're going to have, and right, there isn't like a proper for loop anymore, right? How do we do looping in Elixir? I think we do have to still do like the each. Yeah, there is no looping, and that's where we need to use one of those functions. Closest is comprehension. So we could do like an enum.each. Oh, wait, so there is for. Yeah, there is a for loop. It's close enough. Come on, man. That's a loop. Come on. Don't tell me there aren't loops when I can do that. That's a good call, right? Because the 1 dot dot result, like 1 dot dot 0, wouldn't actually do anything. Yeah, that's a good call. I like that. Thank you. Good catch. Still not certain we need new most recent ID. Yeah, I think this is just most recent ID. Okay, but here's the thing. I probably don't want to do the loop because I want to bail out. Is there a way to escape a for loop? And that's where I'd want to use reduce while, because that's the only way we can halt while doing this loop. Right? So yeah, we'll probably still do the reduce while. Yeah, no exit strategy. There you go. Yeah, so that makes sense. All right, here's the moment of truth. Is the internet still down? Looks like it's still being reported as issues are being had all over the place still. We do see it going down, but I don't think that means what we think it means. All right, so yeah, for dinner tonight, I got to think about what I'm eating. Probably not going to do the butter chicken. If the internet's down, DoorDash is probably not going to work. So I got a half hour to figure out, well, do I want to cut calories, or do I want to get KFC? I haven't had KFC in ages. It sucked last time I had it too, but how much do I feel like cooking? And when I say cooking, the cutting calories meal is pretty light. The early exit condition is hitting an ID that we've already processed. I mean, I can eat without the internet. I just don't want to go out to the restaurant. But the KFC is nearby. Right? The Indian food. No, can't do that one without the internet. Because I'm not walking all the way over to that place. Because I got gaming I need to do tonight. Shit, if the internet's out, are we even going to be able to play Borderlands? Because they've shat the bed and required internet always on bullshit. They may have a phone number, but they don't have their own delivery person. So no matter what, I'd still have to go to the place. There is a closer Indian place, but it's just not that good. It's just not that good. I mean, whatever you typed, I was able to read it. Makes sense. Sushi's good, but again, the sushi place that is good is not necessarily a place I want to walk to. Oh, holy shit. This lime just exploded like a shotgun blast. Sushi is delicious, for sure. But do I actually want grocery store sushi? Nah. I eat it from time to time, but at this time of day, it would be slim pickings. Like, I'd have to compromise on what I actually want to eat. Grocery store sushi's fine. Like, they are good sushi. It's just that at this time of day, the person making the sushi isn't there anymore. So I'm picking from whatever they pre-prepped, which means I'm basically not going to get the thing I want. Yeah, the person at the grocery store that makes the sushi leaves by like 3 o'clock. Let me get more music going. No. Mr. Gas Station Sushi Eater. Like, yeah, exactly. Here's to you, Mr. Gas Station Sushi Eater. I think I'm actually thinking of a different commercial. Hold on. Yeah, it was an insurance commercial. The Real Men of Genius commercials are amazing. Look at you. Like, it's so good. Dude, these commercials are so good. I don't think it's on straight, is what they just sang. It's been like a year or two since we listened to this. Here's the link for everyone. I'll paste it to YouTube too. I know, just legendary. These commercials were so good. I don't watch enough TV. Do they even make commercials this good anymore? Like when I'm watching Tubi over on the other stream, all we get are like prescription like ads. You'll see them during the Super Bowl if you watch the Super Bowl. You're a star. Like, dude, the guy that does that singing bit is super good. Dude, they need to bring these commercials back. We could come up with a dev version. Oh, we could come up with a dev version. Here's to you, Mr. Really Bad Git Commit Maker. Yes, we know. It's changes. Or something like, dude, that would be so good. Oh, that'd be so good. Oh, shit. Here's to you, Mr. Looks Good to Me Man. Or Mr. Yeah, I don't know. We could totally do it. We could totally do it. Hold on. I'm sorry. 1 second. Yeah, sorry you got hit by that. 1 second, Rysar. We just have that to prevent the spammers. We don't get the spammers that often, but when we do get them, it's totally worth it. Oh, hold on. There you go, Rysar. But yeah. Update readme.md. Updated. That's it. Mr. Updated readme.md. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for chilling. Dude, I'm getting super distracted by these. It's like bringing literal tears to my eyes. Real devs of genius. Hold on, I'm passing this to work. Oh, hold on. So yeah, that song's good. Sure. Um, were there any others that are good, or do we just throw it back on some synthwave? Let's just do some synthwave. There we go. But I'm pacing this to work. Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, I got the equipment. Real devs of genius. Right? I could do the audio. I could do the audio. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I could do the audio. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to work. Would younger kids get it? Would like the younger devs understand? No. But anyone over the age of like 25? Woo, man. You got a customer for life. Hold on, I got to share this. I mean, I don't know, Alex. Like, how old do you think you would need to be to recognize those commercials? The band from the Coming to America movie? I don't remember the band. I do remember the movie, right? The original Coming to America. That movie is a classic. One, what was the other one I had? Here's to you, Mr. Looks Good to Me code reviewer. Maybe 30? Like, I don't know. Alex, had you ever heard those commercials before? That's the question. Oh, I remember when they came out for sure. All right, so you're 35. Okay. Who's the youngest person here, right? Anyone younger than 35 that remembers those commercials actually playing on the radio or whatever? Hold on. Here's to you, Mr. Deletes the failing test person. Here's to you. Like, come on. Anyone got ideas? Shout them out. I feel like this would be gold. Here's to you, dev that suppresses compiler warnings. Yeah, that one's not bad. That one's pretty good. Yeah, I feel like that'd be great. No, like I already pushed it to work. I'm trying to get the rest of our devs to think about like other ones we could do. Like I'm totally. Someone else proposed Old Spice version. Hello devs, look at your Git client. Now back to me. Now back to your Git client. Now back to me. Sadly, it isn't me. But if you switch to Git Kraken, it could be me. Now I'm a horse. Like I don't know. That wouldn't be a lot harder. I don't want to naysay their version, but like we don't have the production value for that one. But it could still be fun. And I like the idea of yeah, the way you phrased it, dev that instead of like Mister, because then it's not pointlessly gendered. Right? Here's to you, dev that makes really vague commit messages. Here's to you, dev that replies looks good to me to every pull request. Here's to you, dev that deletes the failing test instead of making it work. So yeah, I like that. Yeah, here's to you, dev that. Yeah, yeah. No, this is good shit. I feel like we'd be good. Yeah, we just need to come up with more. And I could just record a couple clips like real devs of genius. Right? They don't have to be good. Just has to work. Right? I could record those clips and we could use them forever, basically. Dude, like that shit would go viral as fuck, right? But yeah, yeah, I'm like shouting this to the void because after 5 o'clock, dude, nobody's paying attention on stream, or no one's paying attention at work. Maybe stream too. Now this is good shit. I really like it. I love this idea. I'm really into it. Whether we use it or not, if work doesn't do it, well, it's mine now. I can take that idea with me to any company I work at. All right. Anyway, back to what we're doing. Man, we're getting massively sidetracked. I'm okay with it. Let me double check with gaming stream real quick. Right? Not gaming stream, but the people we will be gaming with tonight. And if someone steals the idea, go for it. I just want this shit to exist in the world. Right? Like, you could actually do it for all sorts of different things. And, like, different companies could do it, right? Like, oh, some database company. Here's to you, Mr. Never Uses an Index, right? For, like, a database company. Here's to you, dev that does deeply nested loops. Me. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Why not? Here's to you, dev that can't center a div. Like we could expand beyond just like the Gitkraken stuff. I think for the Gitkraken stuff, like we could focus on like commits and code review and all that, right? But what could we do for like other brands? Like at the bare minimum, we could do some YouTube shorts about it, right? Like some TikTok-y whatever. Yeah, that'd be good. Yes, suppresses compiler warnings. Absolutely. Like, what are some other ones we could do? This is now a like like a comedy writing room stream. Code? Code doesn't matter. No, it's comedy time. What do we do? And yeah, I'm thinking I do the calorie, like the calorie deficit meal. Even though it doesn't taste good, I could do the chicken broth. I did the beef broth yesterday, so we can mix it up. I could do the chicken broth, like the chicken bone broth, like in the mug. And I can do the yogurt with the hemp and the chia seeds. Hemp seeds taste terrible, but you know, it's fine. And we do a little bit of like calorie cutting. I think that's the move, rather than like going and getting some shitty KFC. I make better fried chicken than KFC does. Like way better fried chicken. But I don't have time to cook it tonight. Anyone here got like a fried chicken recipe? So 3D Factor, I eat one meal a day. I haven't eaten anything today besides the limes that go into my whiskey. I eat one meal a day. Now, when I'm traveling, yeah, I do different. So basically, I'm doing like the calorie cut in prep for eating way too much at TwitchCon. There's a couple good taco places. I don't like the Tijuana like wet taco. So there's only a couple taco places I like to eat at in San Diego. But there's other places that are good too. Yeah, when I travel, I'm basically on a food mission every time. Right? Alex, you know what I'm talking about. KFC and like Pizza Hut bullshit? I'm not eating that for lunch. Hell no, I'm traveling. I'm eating good. There was no way in hell I was going to eat KFC. Not when I'm traveling. And I'm sure it was fine, right? It's like, it's good. Having one meal a day is bad. If your eating timing is scarce, your body goes into fat storage mode. No, your body goes into ketosis, actually. Your body goes into, like, burning calorie mode. Like, that's usually better if you're not consuming sugar. But yeah, no, your body totally goes into, like, burning calorie mode. Right? Intermittent fasting is magic. Like, it's really good. Yeah, total intake's more important than worrying about your metabolism. I find it easier to track my calories if I just do it for one meal. What are we coding? Barely anything. We got super distracted by the Real Men of Genius commercials. But we are working on the project and the title, and our today command is here, and we're trying to get the Hacker News stuff wired up properly. Now, I do have to pee, so give me a second. But yeah, we're currently in the process of making our Hacker News listener actually work. Like, it was working and we were getting at least one page of that stuff. But the way that we were tracking the most recent ID to prevent from going like over was a problem. So now we have to make sure we're tracking the ID properly. And that's involving a major refactor of what we're doing. Will we finish it today? Maybe not. But I can at least give myself some notes, and when we come back on Monday, we can solve it. But I have to pee, so give me a sec. And yes, I get what you were saying. 3D factor. I get it. Yeah. I think the biggest thing is physical exercise. Your body will burn calories no matter what. So if you just stay active on a regular basis, that is way better than not being active on a regular basis. Your body will burn calories no matter what. Right? It's why fasting actually works. Even if your body goes into calorie conserving mode, if you're staying active, you're going to burn calories. That's just how it works. Right? It's less about when you eat and more about how much you eat. It's easier to track how much you eat if you only do it once a day. Yeah, it's about calorie deficit. 100%, right? When you eat is less important than how much you eat. That's all. But okay, so here's the big thing. So Alex, no, that's based on the amount of protein that you take in, not the calories themselves. I don't know. I'd have to see something about that, right? If you only average 40 grams of protein a day, how you get those 40 grams doesn't matter. If you can get 40 grams within 500 calories versus 40 grams within 1,500 calories, it doesn't fucking matter as far as the muscle loss goes. Like, the protein is the thing that maintains the muscle. As far as I know, I could be wrong. Like, I don't know this shit. I'm no dietitian. No, if you're still in a calorie deficit, you're not going to gain fat from it, right? If you get 40 grams of protein from 500 calories versus 40 grams from 1,500, where are you gaining fat? Your body still needs around 1,500 to sustain. Doesn't matter if there's other fats and whatever, right? It's about the calories. Calories in, calories out. There's the dude that ate nothing but like Twinkies and junk food and lost weight because he was doing the calorie counting thing. And it wasn't just muscle weight or whatever. Like, dude got thinner. Dude burned fat. Yeah, right? Like, so it's the ratio of protein to the calories that you take in. But really, you just need X amount of protein per day to maintain muscle. That's it. That's fucking it. No matter what, you need X amount of protein to maintain whatever muscle you have. However many calories you take beyond that, well, that's on you. Right? Your body needs X amount of grams of protein per day to maintain whatever muscle you have. If you get that protein, the extra calories beyond it, whatever. But yeah, let's go raid someone because we got some gaming to do. Dude, you would be hard pressed to consume 300 grams of protein per day. That shit's fucking tough. Like, bodybuilders have a really tough time consuming that much protein. And most of them end up having heart problems anyway. So, like, don't follow their diets. All right, so we're going to go raid Blaze Bits. And yes, did we finish the thing we're working on? No. Yeah, that does make sense, right? If you're only consuming protein, there's maybe only so much you can consume. But protein that you don't absorb turns into fat anyway. Right? It turns into just calories you can burn anyway. Hence how I phrased it, right? Protein that you don't use. Without exercise, 300 grams of protein is going to turn into fat anyway. Or at least calories that you have to burn in some way. EX is Elixir. And yeah, I'm going to need to leave myself a good, leaving off note. But let's make sure we get the raid triggered. And I'm still on the fence of if I want to do the cut or if I just want to go grab some KFC. I should do the cut. I should do the cut. If only for the reason that I don't have to leave the house. All right, so we're going to go raid Blaze Bits. Blaze Bits is doing some Hack the Planet, little news, little hackbot, little Q&A. Looks like they're sipping on a beer. No. We got work done, but this is a Twitch stream, you know? We hang out, we chat. The pressure of getting shit done, this is a side project, man. We'll be back here on Monday and we'll solve the problem. You know what burns a shitload of calories? Thinking really hard about a problem. And we did that today. So yeah, we're good. So we're going to go raid Blaze Bits. We're going to say goodbye to the YouTube stream. Looks like YouTube's back up because we got some viewers at least. But yeah, thank you YouTube for hanging out. I'll be back on Monday. See you then.